In this video, we will go over how to use the classify tool in our spatial products. The classify tool allows you to do a spatial join and assign columns from an area layer to a layer with geographic coordinates such as points. These columns are assigned based on the point layer's intersection with the area layer in space. In our products, there are two forms of this tool. One of them is classify by inclusion, which is the form contained in Spatial Studio and in all our other spatial products. And in one specific product of ours called Spatial Excel, there's another form of the tool called classify sheet, which is used specifically to classify an Excel sheet of data. We will be going over the classify by inclusion form of the tool. In this example, you can see I have some points plotted on the map, and these represent outlets in the outlets layer over here. Then below that, I have some areas, which represent subplace areas contained in the subplaces layer over here. Now, I would like to do a classify of certain columns from the subplaces layer to my outlets layer so that I can find out the subplace name as well as the subplace code that each of my outlets fall within. And to do that, we will use the classify by inclusion tool, which can be found in the tools tab over here or search for in the search bar. Clicking on the tool brings up the following dialog. The first thing you'll do is choose the layer that you want to classify, which will be your points layer. In this case, it's my outlets layer. Then you will choose the layer that you want to classify with, which will be your area layer. In this case, it is my subplaces layer. Then below, you will choose the exact columns that you want to bring through in the classification from the area layer. And like I said, I want the subplace code as well as subplace name, so I'll tick those on. Now you can do the classification using layers, which I'm doing in this case, or you can do the classification straight from a shapefile, which you don't even have to bring in. You can simply browse to its location on your PC over here, and then choose the columns in the shapefile that you want to bring through in the classification, and you can do the classification that way. If I only wanted to classify selected outlets, I would first select them using one of the selection tools and then tick on classify selected only. And similarly, if I only wanted to use specific areas to classify with, I would use one of the selection tools, select the area or areas, and then tick on use selected features only. In this case, I'm going to use everything, so I would like to be using these checkboxes. I can then go ahead and click classify. And the classification has now been done, and I can go ahead and look at the results within the outlets layer. By right-clicking, I'm going to view data. Then if I browse to the end here, we can see the columns we chose to pull through in the classification are now here and have been assigned to each of the outlets here. And we can see exactly which subplace each outlet falls within, along with the SP name and SP code. Now what we can do with these newly added columns is group by them to see our data better. So for example, I will click and drag this column of subplace name here and drop it in the grouping area. And you can see the outlets have now been grouped by the subplace that they fall within. And I can expand these arrows here and have a look at exactly which outlets lie within which subplace. What's also nice about this is you can also get aggregations now for each of these different groupings. As you can see, there is an aggregation already on here, which is giving you a count of the number of outlets within each of the subplaces. So for example, there's 1 outlet within this subplace here, 8 within this subplace, etc. These aggregations can be gotten by right-clicking under the desired column that you want to get an aggregation for. You would right-click like this and then choose your aggregation type. So for example, if you wanted to get an aggregation for something like total volume here, you would right-click underneath there, and I would say maybe sum, and there we go. I can see the exact sums of total volume for the outlets within each of these SP groupings. And that's all for this demonstration. Thank you very much.